I think a lot of people on social media are brainwashed. If your social media is filled with pro-Israel stuff, you don't really know what's happening. I think when people come to the protests, they come to the march, and they actually talk to Palestinians like myself. I'm a Palestinian from Gaza. They actually know what is happening, and that it deeps way rooter than 7th of October. It roots from 76 years of occupation, illegal occupation. So I think when people actually talk to Palestinians, like myself or any other Palestinians, they actually know what the real answer is, and that is always going to be pro-Palestine, free Palestine.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Jihad. I'm from Palestine. My family's from the West Bank. How do I think Western media covers the Palestine-Israeli conflict? First of all, I think the narrative is wrong. I don't think it's a Palestine-Israeli conflict. I think it's just straight up the occupation and genocide of the Palestinians on their homeland. This is just the same type of colonialism you've seen through thousands and thousands of years. Nothing new. They're using the same formula. And the way the media is conveying it is as if it's equal turns or equal power, or one side's fighting against the other side, where it's just straight up one side being oppressed by the other for the last 75, 76 years at this point.
I think the international media has a big role to play in conveying the story of the genocide. And it's not a good coverage at the moment. The media is complicit, and they can do better at covering it. Every time the media lies, a little neighborhood in Gaza is bombed and kids are dying. There are a lot of resources out there that can help those who are unfamiliar to learn. If you know a Palestinian person, speak to them. This is your best start. But if you don't, there are a lot of resources out there. Social media, follow a lot of these. Follow Mu'taz Azaiza, PSNA, Palestinian Youth, How Tiaroa. There are a lot of resources out there on social media, on Instagram, TikTok. Do not listen to the mainstream media, the likes of The Guardian, BBC, and so on. You're better off with social media.
So how do I think the international media conveys what's happening? I think they portray it very badly and very biasedly. I'm not sure if that's the right word. They don't show what's happening. I'm assuming that whoever pays their advertising won't let them show the correct information. So I get all my information about what's happening from following journalists and photographers on the ground in Gaza. And from some sources like, I can't remember the names of any of them, but from some like Al Jazeera and Middle East Eye and places like that. But here in New Zealand, we've got terrible bias media, and same for America and the UK, unfortunately.
One story if there's one thing I'd like to say to people who are unfamiliar with the conflict, the first thing is that it's not just unique to Palestine. If this was your people too, we'll also be out here advocating and fighting for your people's rights. And the next thing I'd like to say is that be kind. That's the first thing you want to look at. Just be kind. You know, this is not religious. It's not a holy war. It's just the oppressed versus the oppressor, and that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
I think my message to people is to learn about the history of what is happening in Palestine. If you look back 76 years ago, the Nakba, the catastrophe, 750,000 Palestinians were illegally taken out of their homes, and people had to leave their land, their homes, because of the Israeli occupation. And so I think the first step is to actually talk to Palestinians, actually do your research, read a book, and actually see what is happening in Palestine, because it deeps way rooter than the 7th of October.